Alright, gentlemen, so let's waste no time here and jump into this concept. Probably one of the more complex topics that you'll probably hear me discuss. It's really interesting, actually. The benefits of it are, well, we'll discuss that as well, and hopefully there's going to be tons of knowledge that you can learn from this. So let's jump in here. Reality shifting to your desired perfect self. Now, at first this might seem a little bit wishy-washy, but just hear me out here. Thoughts are subtle manifestations of the emotions you are feeling. So when we talk about the idea of manifesting and our thoughts, right? The thoughts themselves have the power to manifest something, whether that's, your dream life, and that's what we're discussing today. But the idea is, it's not about the dreams and visions of, let's say, driving a Bugatti in Dubai, okay? But rather, it's about the emotional feeling associated with the thought, I look like a stud while driving this car. So for any dream that you have, that you want it to become a reality, this is what we're talking about. It's not about the thought, I want $1 million by the time I'm 21, or I want this car. It's about the feeling. It's about the feeling that you get tied to the emotion from the thought. So your nervous system cannot tell the difference between what the eyes are currently seeing and feeling and what has already been seen, felt, or yet to be seen and felt. So your nervous system cannot tell the difference between you daydreaming and manifesting $1 million versus you actually having it, because either way you see it, you feel it. There's yeah, you can touch it, but you can also imagine yourself touching it. There's no difference there. Two of the same things, but just in a different reality, okay? So reality shifting from one to the other, that's what we're looking at today. So, and this is also why trauma affects us the way it does, but also leads to giving us the ability to manifest. So stay with me now. Number one, feeling is the secret. Thoughts don't manifest themselves. The energy created and the energy associated with the thought manifests itself. Energy is going to be the precursor to the event, no matter how long or how far away it is. So, for example, I'm thirsty. That thought manifests as the thought of thirst, but this is the energy, and the I'm going to get a glass of water is the physical manifestation. It's simple and mundane, but essentially it's not about I'm gonna go get a drink that makes you go get the drink. It's the emotion and the feeling of thirst tied with the thought of I'm gonna get a drink that actually manifests you going and getting it, okay? Number two, stop focusing on the thought. So now that we've got the first one out the way, feeling is the secret, how are we gonna do this? So don't disregard the thought entirely. Thoughts are the evidence and a reflection of your deeper state of feeling and being. They reflect what you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself, and this manifests unconsciously in the way you act every day. But this is also going to be the way that we're going to manifest those things that we want. So see them for what they are and the energy behind the thought. Now, what do I mean by this? Rather than focusing on the thought of having your dream car, rewire your thinking to, how does sitting in this car feel? How does the leather on the steering wheel feel on your hands? How does it feel brushing against your hands? How does the sound of the engine make you feel? Does it make you feel happy, exhilarated? the idea is the feeling, and the deeper you can get into a state of dreaming that you already have what you have, not I want this but I don't have it, because essentially that's what lust is, right? And we definitely don't want lust. So focusing on the thought is not going to be entirely contuitive with what we're trying to do here. The deeper you can get into getting this idea of you already having it by dreaming and feeling, using the senses is going to be the best way we're going to have this happen. How does the car sound, and how does that make you feel? The physical sensations of the surroundings that you have. You can see, how does that make you feel? It's all just a level of feeling at the end of the day. Number 3, don't wrestle the negative thoughts. Now, repression of emotions will catch up to you eventually. Now, thinking that acknowledging the negative thoughts that come up while practicing this concept will ruin your chances of manifestation is simply false. But this does need to be addressed, and it will continue to haunt you. So while you're manifesting, we'll go back to the idea of a Bugatti in Dubai. You're thinking about how the steering wheel feels, what you can see, but you have these negative thoughts come up, such as, oh, but how am I ever going to have this? How am I actually going to make this work? We need to completely get rid of that idea, cast it out, and focus on the now, the being of you in that car. The memory of your ex cheating on you will feel terrible. Now, why am I suddenly talking about that? The idea of you in a Bugatti that feels good, you can feel everything going on, is the same concept as what happened to you in the past. You still hold on to that feeling associated with something bad happening to you, trauma. Now, again, this isn't entirely to do with this topic, but it is important to include in this because it's the same thing. So what's my point exactly? The negative emotion will unconsciously manifest just as the positive will. It must be addressed. Validate the feeling and don't suppress it, or it will continue to torment you. Feel the emotion on all levels, similar to how you would with your dream car, right? How does this memory make you feel? What physical sensations do you get from the past traumatic event? What physical sensations arise from the said memory? Continue to allow the emotion and memory to take over. Don't resist it, and let it out your system and let go of it completely. So the negative intrusive thoughts during this practice are simply evidence of where your baseline level of thinking is at. Why is it negative? Or can you remember a time where you were made to feel undeserving of the things you want? Under deep retrospect, you might remember a time where a bully stole your favorite toy, for example, and this thought is tied to anxiety. Feel the anxiety and release it. As I said, more videos on this at a later date. Anyways, number 4 is clarifying the vision. Clearly define your goals, and the more specific the better. Driving a car in Dubai is cool, but where exactly are you? What do you smell? What do you feel? What emotions? Are you happy? The more specific you can get about it, the more effective this practice is going to be. So really imagining having already rather than wanting. Again, lust, it's a horrible feeling. Your dream life is already here. While you have it, feel the emotions and touch the items and associations of this reality. Remove any possibility of the idea of wanting and not having from the process. This is lust, and it's going to do the opposite of what we are trying to do here. Drives you away from any desire that you want, okay? You know, use dream boards and mind maps to visually see it. The more you can sense, the more you can engage, the better, the more effective this is going to be. So this could be creating a dream board of, you know, a lot of people speak about this, but a dream board of all the pictures of what you want your life to look like. This is going to engage with the visual aspects, the visual sense, and then you want to then, obviously you can't use pictures for feelings. I mean, you can, but it's not going to be as effective and specific. But you then want to understand how it's going to make you feel, what you're touching, all of that. What do you hear? How warm is it? What can you smell? How does the steering wheel on your hands make you feel? Is it warm from being in the sun? All of these things, right? These are just cues to get you thinking about everything you need to do to manifest what you want. So we've flown through those 4, but hopefully there's enough gold in there to really explain the idea that I'm getting at. Long story short, and to conclude, manifesting is about understanding you've already got what you have. Because, as I said at the start here, your nervous system cannot tell the difference between what your eyes are currently seeing and feeling and what has already been seen, felt, or yet to be seen and felt. Get rid of the idea that you're not going to have it. Get rid of the idea that you want it but you can't have it. Understand you're worthy of it, you already have it, and there's no limit to what you can achieve, to be honest.